Modern science isn't fruitful, it's dogmatic. It generates no new insights and it produces no new outcomes, no new ways of generating evidence. Science, in Kuhn's image, must be productive or its paradigm must change.
The academic obsession with a quote-unquote fuel for stars to quote-unquote burn is clearly an artifact of the energy barons' manipulation of academic theory with the funding, pure selection, and tenure processes under their influence or direct control. It profits them greatly for humans to blindly believe that in order to get energy to do our work, we must burn something, which they just so happen to own and sell at great cost financially and to our environment as well. Being that their current profits are astronomically higher than any time in recorded history, we immediately see how much they have to lose if mankind frees itself from their lies. Extending the burning concept from their dysfunctional machines to stars ensures them that mankind will continue to believe that there is no other way to get our energy in great quantities than by blowing up or burning their fuels. In the darkness of this false theory, mankind will believe that even the stars must burn fuel, and therefore this is the very foundation of energy production in nature. However, this is easily proven to be a lie.
Somehow or another, the sun is supposed to get the intense radiation from the center, from the core, out to the surface to give us the heat and light that we observe. And what we've found now is that one of the key links in that transfer of energy is missing. Of course, this prompts the question, what actually does transport the heat flux of a solar luminosity outwards? But a better question is, does sunshine come from within the sun?
Popular ideas about the sun have not fared well under the tests of a scientific theory. The formulators of the standard sun model worked with gravity, gas laws, and nuclear fusion, but closer observation of the sun has shown that electrical and magnetic properties dominate solar behavior. For centuries, the nature of the sun's radiance remained a mystery to astronomers. The sun is the only object in the solar system that produces its own visible light. All others reflect the light of the sun. What unique trait of the sun enables it to shine upon the other objects in the solar system? Today, astronomers assure us that the most fundamental question is answered. The sun is a thermonuclear furnace. The ball of gas is so large that astronomers envision pressures and densities within its core sufficient to generate temperatures of about 16 million K, producing a continuous, controlled nuclear reaction. Most astronomers and astrophysicists investigating the sun are so convinced of the fusion model that only the rarest among them will countenance challenges to the underlying idea. Standard textbooks and institutional research, complemented by a course of scientific and popular media, ratify the fusion model of the sun year after year by ignoring evidence to the contrary. It seems that the sun does not even quote-unquote respect gravity, the mass of charged particles expelled by the sun as the solar wind continues to accelerate beyond Mercury, Venus, and Earth. Solar prominences and coronal mass ejections do not obey gravity either, nor does sunspot migration, nor does the movement of the atmosphere, since the upper layers rotate faster than the lower, reversing the situation predicted by theory, while the equatorial atmosphere completes its rotation more rapidly than the atmosphere at higher latitudes, another reversal of predicted motion. If the sun's atmosphere were subject only to gravity and the hot surface, it should be only a few thousand kilometers thick instead of the 100,000 kilometers or more that we measure. Even the shape of the sun defies the expectations of theory. The revolving sun should be an oblate sphere, but it is a virtually perfect sphere, as if gravity and inertia have been overruled by something else. David Talbot. The nuclear furnace myth of the sun was created to support energy baron profits and control. This in turn invalidates all tokamak fusion reactors based on the idiotic theory that the sun is a nuke furnace, meaning that 48 billion and more of taxpayer money has been wasted on this fraud called nuclear fusion. This is how the racket is run. The powers that be fund all this worthless quackademic science in order to keep you paying for energy, which should be practically free in all its applications. Their slave system of backwards explosion-based technologies ensures them that we keep paying for their fuels, fighting their dirty lying wars, and enriching the subhuman filth who profit from these demonic world-destroying activities. The following video is a segment taken from a Disney production entitled The Bell Laboratory Science Series, which consisted of 9 television specials made for the AT&T Corporation that were originally broadcast from 1956 to 1964. The specific film in the series was called Our Mr. Sun. The film was first broadcast on November 19, 1956 at 10 p.m. to an audience estimated at 24 million viewers in the US and Canada, which was considered very successful at the time. Considering Walt Disney's blatant connection to Freemasonry, many over the years have pointed out and exposed how this so-called global leader in family entertainment has been nothing more than one of the most powerful brainwashing and indoctrination tools aimed at children in human history, nothing more than another mind control and propaganda arm of the New World Order. And so it is not surprising that Walt Disney was fully on board and used to propagate the nuke furnace model, as millions of kids were told that mankind understood what our sun really is and how it works. Regarding this particular propaganda from Walt Disney, Robert Otey states, Freemason Walt Disney is selling us the thermonuclear sun myth back in the 50s, which burns fuels just like our crappy explosion-based slave technologies. How nice for his energy-baron buddies in the Masonic network. That way, nobody will look to nature for other causes. Nature does not use explosions like hydrogen bombs to power her stars. The electricity which fills all space is imploded through the poles of stars to generate electricity as discharge, which requires no fuels at all, just the opposite to our slave technologies owned by the energy barons. Nowadays, we know that this is an electric universe and that the sun is electric and not a nuclear furnace, as was falsely believed since the 30s. Academia holds on to and protects this false slave model because it is owned by corporations which sell fuels for the explosion-based slave technologies we are offered as the quote-unquote only option in our present world. This entire explanation is pure science delusion and was never remotely believable. The nuke atom has been a myth since its idiotic inception and has been thoroughly debunked. For example, see D.B. Larson's The Case Against the Nuclear Atom. So once again, if these huge megalithic projects such as CERN, ITER are based on a faulty premise to begin with, and we know based on overwhelming evidence pointing to the fact that they've suppressed real technology and knowledge from mankind to solely benefit the ruling power structure and criminal global control, what are these projects really for? What is the true agenda? This is the question we need to ask. We need to ponder these pertinent questions because a paradigm of true technology, true freedom, true knowledge that the ancients who understood electricity and magnetism and were masters of sound and frequency were well aware of is hidden right under our very nose.
There's no inside structure.
Is it hollow?
Yeah, there's only a surface. There's nothing inside.
Is the sun actually, do you believe, combusting in on
It's
itself?
not burning anything. There's no fusion in the sun. That's well understood.
Proven.
Yeah, well, there's just not the way to prove that there is any. It's only in the flares that you get fusion. That's why all the X-rays. The flares, the arcs, and the X-rays, and the microwaves, and whatever result of fusion in the arcs. There's no fusion in the sun. They don't know how the sun works.
Why do you, what's special, how does the sun make light?
It's a transformer. Transforms from some other dimension. It's not burning anything. It doesn't have to. It's a converter.
Of what?
I don't know. Nobody knows. But that's what it does. That's the only thing it can do because that's how everything works.
It's transforming from another dimension.
Yeah, you could say it's taking energy from another dimension, counter space. It doesn't take light years. There are no light years because there's no light. So that means that the light you see from the distant stars isn't 4 million years old. It could be only minutes old. It could be instantaneous. All the theories collapse.
We know the answer not only to your energy, but to what makes other stars in the universe shine. Thermonuclear reaction. It's the key word that wound up the universe. Thermonuclear. 8 to 5, they've made a hydrogen bomb. We certainly have, Mr. Sun. And the news rocked the world. But with you, it's old stuff. The equivalent of 4 billion hydrogen bombs have been going off inside you every second for some 4 billion years. Give or take a billion. What smart guy figured that out? Dr. Hans Bethe of Cornell is the gentleman. In 1938, he announced that the source of the sun's energy is the fusion of 564 million tons of hydrogen into 560 million tons of helium each second. 564 to 560, where did the missing 4 million tons go? Just disappear? Disappears as mass, as matter, but reappears as light, heat, and all sorts of radiation. Quite a trickster old Saul making 4 million tons disappear. 4 million tons? That he is. Roll 12. I brought along a trickster friend of mine, Thermo the Magician, who has an act which he claims explains the sun's magic.
I am Thermo. I will do for you such a trick only me and the stars can do. Pay attention. This is one way to make a hydrogen bomb. Nature's way. So, hydrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is hydrogen? The smallest atom from which you build all the other atoms. So, we will weigh the hydrogen. Scale. Each bottle weighs exactly 100 ounces. 4 bottles, 400 ounces. Remember that. 400 ounces. So, now, carbon. This is carbon. A piece of coal to you. That is what I start with. Hydrogen and carbon. So, now I will heat them. 30 million degrees I will heat them. How? In a hydrogen bomb, it is done by exploding an ordinary atom bomb to ignite the hydrogen bomb. For the stars, they do it by pressure, gravity, like our Mr. Sun. So, now I play Mr. Sun and heat the hydrogen and the carbon to 30 million degrees. Fire! 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 Now I am ready. Number 1 hydrogen, come! I, Thermo, now give the command. Fusion! So, what have we here? Nitrogen, the gas what makes 4/5 of the air you breathe. Air. Now number 2 and number 3 hydrogen, come. Fusion. Now we have oxygen, the other 1/5 of the air you breathe. Number 4, fusion. Now we have coal again, same piece. And we have helium, what you fill balloons with. 4 hydrogens, if they are 30 million degrees hot, 30 million degrees. It is not children playing with matches. The 4 hydrogens come out 1 helium. The carbon comes back the same, you see? Same weight, no change. That's why we call this the carbon cycle. Now we weigh the helium. Should weigh 400 ounces like the hydrogen. Oh yes, naturally. But it can't be. The helium weighs 3 ounces less than the hydrogen. Where did the 3 ounces go? That is the magic of the stars. That is the secret of the hydrogen bomb. I show you. Come back 3 ounces. Here is where they went. They changed into...
Now the energy in those 3 little ounces that completely disappeared as matter, that energy is enough to raise the Empire State Building 2,500 miles high. Now the carbon cycle, which is what Thermo just explained to us, is not the only way in which you can change hydrogen into helium plus energy. You may also use a very special and rare process in which you put 2 hydrogen atoms together directly. Is that the famous proton-proton process? Say, you've been reading. Mr. Sun, you do not annihilate or destroy just 2 or 3 ounces, but 4 million tons of hydrogen matter each second. That gives you your unbelievable energy, which you radiate out into space. We think that originally you were a great loose cloud of gas, mostly hydrogen, being contracted by gravity. As you were compressed, the temperature went up. just as the air in a bicycle tire gets hotter and hotter as you pump it. Finally, the temperature in your core reached the necessary 30 million degrees needed to trigger the thermonuclear reaction. Presto, the furnace was lit, never to go out again as long as you live, Mr. Sun. The hydrogen began burning into helium and energy. Gravity tries to compress you, burning hydrogen tries to expand you. The two forces just balance each other. What's perfection itself? A furnace made of its own fuel, an immense continuous hydrogen bomb, operating at an even heat for billions of years.
And today, instead of temples, rituals, and hymns to the sun, it's domes, gadgets, charts, and numbers. I'm demoted to a specimen, a pile of facts and figures. A big blob of mass holding little blobs of mass together with gravity instead of with love. I think you're all through.
Who's all through?
Earthman, he's had it.
Why, you flaming idiot, they haven't even started yet.
In worshiping me, ancient man was reaching for the great light beyond. But modern man, he's got all the answers.
Our so-called leaders in Washington, whom we elected to safeguard our nation and our Constitution, are the betrayers, and that behind them are a comparatively small group of men whose sole objective is to enslave the whole world of humanity in their satanic plot of one world government.